Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM21 Builder Nation story from Bangor City with me, Daniel. It's part 149 today and we are back for two big games in the context of our season and probably the whole success of this save moving forward. We face Livingston away in the SPFL Trust Trophy. That's the semi-final. We've not won this competition for 2 years. So we need to make sure we get back on track today. Last year we went out in the first round. The year before we didn't make it either. Then we've got the big one, the first leg of our last 32 Europa League match. Real Sociedad, a very worthy opponent, probably stronger than the Bordeaux side we faced at this time last year. So I'll be hoping we can get a good advantage in the home leg. The same night, TNS are in action in the Europa Conference last 32 as well. So big for the Welsh coefficient as we risk going backwards without results. If you're looking forward to it, please do chuck a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe down below for daily FM21 content. Weekday episodes from this series every day at 3:30. Then the odd specials over the weekends as well. You can find a link to Twitch in the eye above. We've got loads of football watch along live streams. But thank you so much for your incredible support. As we go and have a look first at the end of the transfer window from January, because you were with me with about a week to go in the last episode, and there has been a bit of action since. TNS have nicked one of our youngsters on a free in the summer, and this is Jordan Williams, who I think we signed from Newtown for $250,000. We did, but he's just not really pushed on. It's been such a shame. He'll be moving on to TNS. They like getting our former right backs for some reason. But then we had big sales on deadline day. We couldn't get any out permanently, but obviously we mentioned that Pasierek came back from his loan, so we had to let one other leave the club. Stefan Matai was the only one who was wanted, and it helps my beloved Luton Town. So he's gone out there, he's made one substitute appearance and has been awful, but they're paying his wages and a small fee, so we can't complain really. Hopefully it gets him back to international level and interest from other clubs in the summer. Alex Pena is the other one, joined us on a free in the summer, fell behind in the pecking order because of Sam Hunt then joining on loan, and the development of some of the younger players like Gethin Davis has just been fantastic. So Pena goes on loan to Levante. He'll be playing regular football there, although he has picked up an early injury. And in the summer, to be honest, we'll probably sell him. So that was a pretty eventful deadline day for us. I guess it was the English deadline day that more affects us rather than the Welsh one. But there was some big news in that one as well. If we go and have a look at the transfers that took place at the end of the window, you can see it went very busy on deadline day itself. And look at the big standout. TNS paid $100,000 to AFC Wimbledon for Ruben Bates. Now, he's not spectacular. He's a good player. He's a very solid midfielder. You can see a big step up from what we're used to seeing and very versatile. What I will say, though, is $100,000 is something they haven't spent before. So to see that on a player from England and AFC Wimbledon, they're still in the Football League at the moment, mid-table in League 2 and only went down from League 1 last year. So they are a club that TNS are doing well to nick players from at a good rate. Newtown are really improving. They've signed some good players. I know you could argue they needed to. They're in relegation threat still. They're 7th, but they're only 4 points clear. But they have got a strong enough squad to survive now. Colwyn Bay went in for Charlie King. Very solid midfielder as well. So they're little improvements across the league. But I think we're starting to see slightly quieter January transfer windows. And hopefully that means there's a big summer in store. We'll wait and find out. We'll probably have our youth intake next episode, which might make our summer very quiet. But let's very quickly look at the 3 games that we've played off camera. We got 2 pretty comfortable wins. A 2-0 win at home to Barrytown United. Kane Walters with both of those. He's been incredible in recent weeks. And in a 3-0 win away at Barlet was the last game. Strom, Pasierek and Mackenzie with the goals. But in between that, we had a thumping 7-1 win of Cardiff Met Uni. Now, I know they had 2 red cards here, but it had nothing to do with the outcome. Their first red card was in the 70th minute and we were already 6-1 up at this point. Only Lloyd Golding's goal came after. Another hat-trick for Kane Walters. McDonald, Whittaker and Reyes each getting 1 apiece. And against Barlow we got to rest everyone as well. So for this game, we're pretty fresh. The plan is, first team will play these 2 games. Reserves against Colwyn Bay. And then the first team against Real Sociedad in the second leg as well. So lots to look forward to. Let's go and crack on with the first game of 2 today. Because this one's more a bit of a revenge for us to make sure we go and win the trophy, having not done so for a couple of years. And of course we want a quadruple to celebrate. We've only had a treble the last couple of seasons. It's getting very tight at the top. You can see Barry and TNS now level in 3rd and 4th place. Cardiff Met Uni 5 points ahead and Colwyn Bay only 5 behind. So that's sort of our dream 5 for Europe. The professional sides and the runaway amateur side who have just got so many good players. What I'd quite like is Barry in third, because that's a guaranteed European group stage spot, because they're going to the playoff of the Europa League and will only drop into the Europa Conference if they lose it. The second place team only needs to win one tie, and the ones in fourth are really going to struggle. So ideally I would have liked TNS second, Barry third and Cardiff fourth, but probably not going to be. Let's go and have a look at our lineup, as it's a big game between Barry Town United and Cardiff Met Uni. We'll pick our 11, we'll see what the assistant recommends, and then we'll run through the team that are going to face Livingston and probably Real Sociedad in midweek 2. Okay, so a few injury and suspension problems which are weakening the team slightly. Jerome Kelly is out with a knock. He'll probably miss the first leg in midweek as well. So Mackenzie comes in at centre-half. McWilliams gets a go in the holding role. That's because Harvey Lloyd's suspended for this match. I just want to very quickly show you also Mubarak Whelan and Brett Jennings, because these kids, look at Jennings, are improving so quickly. Jennings now up to 2.5 star ability, 9 caps for the Welsh under-21s, and has already made, 20 appearances in all competitions this year. He's starting to look like a very good player, and he's basically level with Mackenzie already. And then Mubarak Whelan, again up to 2.5 star ability at 16. He's got 5 under-21 caps. He's developing mentally, which more than anything impresses me. And he's already made 26 appearances this year. So we're starting to see some real changing of the guard here. And this is why I'm so keen to try and move on some of that backup team this summer again. We did a bit last year, but if we can then get on the likes of Mackenzie, Matai, Pasirek, looking into midfield, even a couple more there, maybe it'll be McWilliams' summer. We just don't know. We can hopefully have a really good season next year, filled with young players on the bench. Speaking of the bench though, we have dropped one superstar today. Kyo Bulkley has a heavy match load, so he's there if we need him. But it's so important that he's fit on Thursday night that he's going to be dropped. And Tom Jones, what an able deputy anyway. So we've got Simancas between the sticks, McDonald and Bektas the fullbacks, Mackenzie in alongside Whittaker at centre-half. McWilliams deputises in the holding role with Reyes, Hunt and Tom Jones making up the rest of the diamond. And then Gordon and Waters up front, 73 goals between them now. So let's go and get into it and see if we can reach the SPFL Trust Trophy final. So of course, 16 years in, we're not going to see many recognisable names now. But we've still got a very good side out today. We have got to worry because we only got to make 8 changes due to the injuries and the suspensions. I'm not so worried about McWilliams because I know that in midweek we'll have Harvey Lloyd back again. But with Mackenzie, he's probably going to have to start on Thursday. So if we are ahead and we can rest him and get a Whelan or a Jennings on, then we'll certainly make sure we do it. 5 minutes gone though, been a very quiet start here in Livingston. Fingers crossed, we'll be able to get on top soon. So we've got a throw on the left with Ahmet Bektas. He's done pretty well since he come back from injury, just starting to find top form now. Throws into Kane Waters. He's got a man running over on the right in Ruben Reyes. He's had a really poor run recently. And that shot saved by the keeper. The rebound, a little bit too acute of an angle. But if there's ever a time for him to start finding form again, it's with the return of the big games in Europe. As it's headed away by Livingston as far as Henry McWilliams. Gets it back to McDonald. Finds McWilliams again. Of course, a player who spent a lot of his career in Scotland with Aberdeen, so should be well versed to this sort of climate, as it's pouring down with rain. Gordon's in again. Excellent save, Ortega. I've got to say, he's made a couple of fantastic stops already. Maybe he's going to be the thorn in our side today. As it's a corner up the other end, McDonald takes it for Livingston. Down at the back post, Malley's unmarked. And this time it's the turn of Roberto Simancas to make a fabulous stop. From point blank range as well, and got it behind for a corner. Excellent work from the Spaniard as McDonald puts an outswinger in this time. Free header for Davidson just over the bar. We're living dangerously. We saw this against Hearts in a quarter-final before Christmas. We've seen this in quite a few games this year. We've not always been a great first-half team. As Bektas and Hunt play a 1-2 from a throw-in. Switch to the right to McDonald, but viciously under-hit. And it's cleared as far as halfway. It'll be picked up by Mackenzie. Comes into the side today and finds Bektas. Hunt loses out in the challenge though. Chipped up towards Walters, who again loses out. Falls for Ahmet Bektas. Takes on his man. He's going a more direct approach here. Gives it short to Hunt. Cuts inside. There's 2 with him, but goes back to McWilliams. We're not really showing that cutting edge at the minute, though. This could be the one. McDonald beats the fullback. And then he's put it into the side netting. I feel like the keeper left him a little bit of space at the near post there. But he just tried to be too precise. 0-0 with 5 minutes to the break. Livingston racking up the yellow cards, but it's been a pretty close game in truth. So we're going to need a little bit more in the second half. We need to make that dominance count. And to stop giving away silly chances as well. Let's see if we can get on top. 25 minutes to go. I was planning to rest him the whole match, but I think we need Kyle Bulkley to come and save us here. Tom Jones not had a great game. He's going to come off on this occasion. In terms of the rest of the team, Mackenzie, I don't really want to mess with the back four at the moment. So I'm going to take Waters off, who's had a rare poor game for Broadbent. We know he's got goals in him. And then Ludomir Srom will come on for Sam Hunt. It's about as strong as we could go off the bench. We were hoping to bring on youngsters like Jennings, Whelan and Davis. But what we're actually doing is bringing on the cavalry. So strong as we can go off the bench. I have had a look at Ortega. He's on loan from Wolves. He's a fabulous young keeper. And I can see why they're doing quite well here, as they've got it on the left-hand side. Will it be heartbreak again for us against Scottish opposition? Walker gets the ball into Flanagan. Back out to the left-hand side. Long ball forward is pretty aimless, and McDonald will get there first to Whittaker. You could argue that some of these lads might have their mind on Thursday already, and the last thing we want is 30 extra minutes, so you could argue I'd rather just lose it in 90. McDonald's through ball to Broadbent, the sub. Can he make it count? It's into the side netting. We're going to demand more. We're going to go attacking. And it's make or break at this point. I do not want to go to extra time. Ortega's clearance out. Wilson loses it to McDonald. Walker brings him down. It's a cynical foul and it's going to be a second yellow. Walker's going to be sent off for Livingston. And surely we have to take advantage. They've gone more defensive with a substitution. We've got 5 minutes to make this count. Our expected goal's 2.5. We've not taken it. This is going to absolutely ruin us in midweek as Wilson crosses it for Malley. Livingston almost nick it. Great header just wide of the post. Simancas was beaten. And now 30 extra minutes beckon in Scotland. This is infuriating. I hope this doesn't have a knock-on effect on Thursday, because that could ruin a nation. As Gordon's in down the right, it's overhit for a throw. And that will be the final action. Extra time we'll be facing here. And all I can think is this is going to harm us in midweek. No extra sub for stoppage time here either, so we're going to have to live with what we've got. And hopefully we just take our chances now. If we have to go all the way to extra time, we can at least go and win the game would be nice. Mackenzie puts one straight at the keeper Ortega from a set piece. He's been absolutely phenomenal today. And I do need a new backup keeper next year, so what's to say we won't go and scout him. Dodgy back pass towards him there, but again he makes the best of it and clears it long downfield. Fraser flicks on to Wilson. Forward, but there's no one really left up front for Livingston. They've got 9 behind the ball, or 8 behind the ball, sorry, and just one standing on halfway. As Gordon picks it up on the right, through to Broadbent, off the bench, and it's Ortega again. Fabulous save down to his left-hand side, read the finish and tipped it away from danger. Bulkley will take the outswinging delivery, in towards Reyes, loses out in the air. Wilson will chase it for Livingston, and he's got there first. Can we stop the breakaway? We've forced them backwards. Ruben Reyes knackered, as is McWilliams. We've still got 25 minutes here. This is very much a dangerous situation for us. Half time in extra time. Our expected goals is now above 3 and we've still not taken advantage. I'm going to encourage them. We just want to nick a goal. If we go to penalties and lose, it'd be heartbreaking. As Bulkley's in. Oh, the flag's up for offside now. Everything is going against us today. He nearly came on and saved the day. 19 shots, 9 on target, 3.07 expected goals and 60% of the ball. And now for midweek, a lot of tired legs that could lose confidence in a penalty shootout. Let's go and set the takers. Hopefully we can come out on top of this, because this could be a devastating way to end it. Let's go and get a few more takers in. We'll be back in a moment for the shootout. Time for penalties. This is how we went out in the first round last season. Will it get us in the semi-final here? Simancas cannot stop the first one from Eiffel. Straight down the middle, and the Spanish keeper dives out the way as Gordon steps up for our first. But mixed record this season from open play. Sneaks in, the keeper went the right way, and for the first time in this match, Ortega will probably be disappointed with his effort. Wilson steps up, had a fabulous game for Livingston too, puts that in the corner. What pace and precision on that penalty. Absolutely inch perfect. It's now Kyle Bulkley. Came on to save the game, almost did it, but his shot was ruled out for offside. No mistake from the penalty spot though. Sends the keeper the wrong way, right in the bottom corner. 2-2, perfect record so far. Matheson for Livingston. Come on, Simancas. Goes the right way but can't stop it. It's a pretty feeble penalty in truth. He probably should have. As Ludomir Srom, another sub, steps up to make it level terms again. Always the danger going second. Srom steps up. Another good penalty. Definitely the highest standard of shootout we've seen in a long time. As Fraser comes up for Livingston. The crucial fourth penalty. into the top corner. Excellent work. Simancas getting nowhere near most of these. And Ruben Reyes absolutely shattered. Can he get one last kick on target? He can't. It was telegraphed. It was the perfect height. It was pretty feebly hit. It deserves to lose a shootout. Ruben Reyes is probably about to be the villain. I mentioned he's been in bad form for a while now, and he might have just cost us a place in the final. Bisland steps up for Livingston. He cannot score if Bangor City want to reach the final. Come on, Simancas, be a hero. Bisland steps up. In. Simancas got a hand to it. It was a decent penalty. But it's heartbreak again in the SPFL Trust Trophy. We don't reach the final. And it's only going to be a maximum of a treble this year. And what's worse is this 120 minutes and the confidence loss from penalties is probably going to harm us in midweek. We'll be back in a moment to find out if I'm right. Okay, early kick-off time on Thursday night. We're playing out the racecourse. TNS later this evening playing out at Shrewsbury in England. This is going to be a really interesting match. We're coming up against Real Sociedad. We've got fitness problems. Jerome Kelly not recommended to be playing today. Might be back for the second leg though, so that could be a positive. So let's go and get into it. Let me pick our strongest 11. And hopefully everyone's recovered from Saturday. So actually our squad probably a little barer than it has been for a long time. Mackenzie has to keep his place at centre half due to the injuries. We're also though missing Gwyn Morgan, who drops out today with a knock. We're struggling a little bit to keep people fit. I mean, outside of the bench, we've only actually got Loza, Jennings, Whelan and Burrows. So we're really not quite at full strength here. Our 11 for today, though, doesn't see too many changes. Harvey Lloyd back from suspension into the holding role, and Kyo Bulkley back in for Tom Jones as the number 10. Jones takes his place on the bench, as does McWilliams. Nenov's back into the squad. Pasirek in for Whelan on the bench too. And that's as strong as I think we can go. So let's go and get into it. Bangor City v Real Sociedad. They've got quality going forward, so an away goal is possibly more likely than other ties recently. But we have still just about got better players in some positions. So let's hope they can produce the goods. So when this tie was announced, we went and looked at their star man, who is Jose Maria Paz in the middle. It's a more technical version of Bulkley. He's absolutely incredible. They've got players like Sergio Sanchez, who's a striker we've looked at before. We couldn't afford his wages, but he's a massive quality striker. Very similar to Goulding and Walters, but a slightly better finisher and not quite as quick. Jordan Evans, an electric winger on loan from English football. And then they've got two keepers that are better than our first choice Simancas. Curtis plays ahead of Rodriguez today, but they're both sensational. They are a little bit, just a little bit slow at fullback. They've got an experienced left fullback who's naturally a winger anyway. And then one on the right hand side too who's not the most electric quick. So I'm hoping that's an area we can take advantage if maybe our strikers peel out wide to make their runs in behind. So let's go and get into it. The first half against Real Sociedad. We'll start on a positive mentality, but I'm not afraid to drop back if we need to. Well, free kick to Real Sociedad, 17 minutes gone, headed away from the box, and now Goulding can counter. This is what we'd set up for. We dropped to balanced very early on. Walters gets himself in, beats the keeper for 1-0. Ruthless counter-attacking display against a team of real players with world-class quality. Hunt's picked up a knock very early on, so we're going to have to make a tactical tweak. I'm tempted to bring on Strom, you know, because I think he's probably the most industrious and probably the strongest mentally as well. So Strom is going to be the man to come on for Hunt. Tom Jones has been in pretty poor form, so I'm a little bit fearful of bringing him on this early. And I don't want Bulkley to have too much defensive responsibility. With 25 gone though, not been a great game, not been a brilliant performance, but it's the result we'll certainly take. We can make it 2 or 3, I'd probably fancy my chances. As Mackenzie gets it to McDonald. We want to protect this defence for the first leg. That is awful. What is going on? Don't you dare, Roberto. Don't you dare do something silly. Whittaker tried to clear it. Kicked it against Mackenzie. No, no. Not like that. What is going on at the back? Matty Whittaker hit the first clearance against Mackenzie, which dragged Simancas out. Then played a stupid pass into Harvey Lloyd when he was under pressure. And the goal's still empty for the player to tap into. 1-1, the worst way to concede an away goal. Let's go and have a look at this player. He's excellent. It's a very good number 10. And that shows you why we're going to find this tie difficult. But this performance so far, been pretty abysmal. And arguably a bit of a hangover from Saturday as well. So let's tell the lads to keep doing what they can. We're going to go back to positive because we've really not taken the ascendancy here. and hopefully it will pay dividends as the game goes on, but I'm not particularly confident at the moment. Well, we've passed the hour mark, we've got lots of poor performers, one of them, Ruben Reyes, is absolutely knackered as well, so I'm going to have to make the change. I'm going to do it just because he saved us in Europe before. Tom Jones will come on as the number 10, Bulkley goes into centre midfield. Cross your fingers, it's not a bad day at the office for him. At the back, Whittaker's had a shocker, but I can't go past Jurek and McKenzie, it's too inexperienced. So I think, as much as it pains me to do it, I might take off Lloyd Goulding. We'll go for Carlton Broadbent up front, and we'll just hope. It's a chance in the arm. This is the reason we have 4 good strikers. So when one's having a bad game, we can chuck another one on, and hopefully it'll be their lucky day instead. 15 minutes to go though, it's still 1-1 at the moment. We've had the better of the second half, but we've not created anything of note. And I'm afraid this is going to be a tough second leg, which means we might be back a lot earlier than we think for the next episode. I was hoping to get this wrapped up. A few of you have talked about it. Last season, we played a weaker Bordeaux side. I wasn't surprised we won convincingly, albeit it was a bigger score margin than I expected. It was still going to be a comfortable win. This, a proper test, and it's proving exactly that. So we'll finish the episode by seeing how TNS get on in a late kickoff in their first leg against a side in Mainz that they surprisingly beat last year, all of the odds with 2 draws and an away goals victory. And hopefully they can save what's been a pretty dismal episode actually. We haven't had one this dodgy on the pitch for a long time. We'll be back in a minute. Well, we might not have done very well, but TNS look like they might be producing the shock again. A 0-0 draw at home to Mainz. They got through last year on away goals after 2 draws. Of course, not a benefit we're going to have in FM22, but we'll make the most of it now. Let's have a look at how they got on here. And what are Mainz like? Because they've got half a side of real players. Now, they've got Dominic Sobolaj, who's extremely old and experienced now, but still a very good player. Their star man, Andre Bragin, is a very good centre-forward. Their goalkeeper is very solid. Why on earth are they not putting away TNS with their current ability? I mean, look at him. Ludger Schade is sensational. TNS done very well to get a draw out of that, and they give us hope for the second leg. But we're both going to need big away performances, and as a result of that first leg, we're going to be back in 2 games' time. We've got Real Sociedad in the second leg of the first knockout round of the Europa League. We need to win or score 2 away goals in a draw. And then depending on the outcome of that, we'll either have Swansea Uni in the Welsh Cup quarter-final, or hopefully, if all goes to plan, the first leg of our second knockout round instead. So we'll keep an eye on TNS in that one as well. But if you did enjoy this episode, a very poor one on the pitch by our standards, please do put a thumbs up on the video. The SPFL Trust Trophy becoming a bit of a bogey competition again, but there's a youth intake round the corner, and I'm hoping that will cheer me up after this poor form. If you want to stay up to date and find out how the rest of the week goes, subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. We've got new episodes every weekday at 3:30 from this one, and of course some odd specials over the weekend as well. And if you want a bit of real football content, we've got our podcast up in the eye above, as well as a link to my Twitch channel, where as well as FM21 streams, we've got loads of football watch-alongs. So come and hang out and have some fun. A massive thank you for your support as always. And I'll see you next time for a massive episode for us, for TNS, and for Welsh football. I'll see you there.